My name is Sahida Apsara and I live in Lisbon. Hello!
Hello!
Hello! Another go. We're already starting!
We're already starting. We're already starting.
We're having a hang!
Where are we going?
To mi casa.
Sahida,
Yes.
where are you from?
I was born in Singapore, but I left when I was 20. I moved to Australia, so I'm an Australian citizen, but roots from India, and my mom is half Malaysian, half Thai. Well, we were in Melbourne, and I don't know if you guys know about how bad the lockdowns were in Melbourne. They were very strict, and yeah, it's like one of the longest lockdowns in the world. And as musicians, it was just impossible to just think about, you know, what life would be like, you know, making a living and raising a family with not being able to travel the way we used to. And we first came here in 2016 during the Azores Festival, and Ben really fell in love with Lisbon. Actually, he's like, oh my god baby, there's buskers on the streets, it's really lively and you really love it, let's move here, you know. And then when we decided to move because of the pandemic, it was the obvious choice.
What do you like about your life in Lisbon?
I love the friends that I've made. I really love, you know, the way that we are able to just get on a plane and go to Madrid. You know, I just did a 10-day little trip with my best friend, and it's possible. And it's not possible living in Australia. I've always been traveling. Even before I met Ben, I was always a nomad. Like, I left Singapore because I just wanted to be free from, you know, from families, from like pressures from the family, and I just wanted to be a free bird. So even through my 20s, that's how I landed in Australia, because I was traveling. And that nomadic spirit never left me. And then I met Ben and we fell in love, and he's also, you know, such a nomad in his heart. What kind of tea would you like?
This looks amazing.
Wow, there's a choice.
What tea would you recommend?
I like this one, the CBD Sencha tea.
Who's on your shirt?
Nina Simone.
Who are your musical inspirations? I presume she's one.
Yes, Nina Simone, Jill Scott, Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu.
What did you want to be when you were a child?
I wanted to be a real estate agent.
What? What?
I wanted to be a real estate agent or a lawyer. I guess people told me that I could make lots of money, and when you're a kid you just like, money, I can buy stuff. I wanted to be a mom. That was always my first dream. More than anything, I needed to be a mother in this lifetime. I'm super maternal and feminine in that way. And I've always wanted to travel and share songs. Like, I very much feel like my purpose is to tell stories. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to write songs that, you know, people can listen to and it can help them out with whatever they're going through in their lives, because at the end of the day, like, the human experience is a very universal experience. You know, we all know what it feels like to be dumped, or to go through a really painful relationship that's got so many traumatic elements through it. We all know what it's like to want to be better versions of ourselves, but something's holding us back. You know, we all know what it feels like to be not invited to a social gathering or to a birthday party when we were a kid, or even as adults. We just want to fit in some ways and feel accepted and loved, and sometimes we would not be true to ourselves in order to fit in and to feel accepted, you know. So most of my songs are really about reclaiming that joy that we feel when we're really true to ourselves.
Who's this person?
Sorry.
Who's this person?
Thought I was finding a rap gap to come in.
We were going to a festival. At the time I was ready to leave Australia. It's a festival in Australia, and my friend who was a DJ at the festival, he said, come to this festival, it's gonna be our last final hurrah in Australia. So I went there with my tent, and at the airport I saw this man, like I said in my poem, and he was kind of like dancing, well, not dancing, but singing to himself, and it's kind of like rapping to himself. He had his headphones on and he was kind of like you're having a good time, and I'm like, right on, man. Actually, with the album, because we've been together for so long now, and I'm really at the place where I know what I like and what feels good to me. I trust my ear, even though I don't play an instrument, which is, in the past, when you don't play an instrument and you want to make music, it really stops you from just going, you know, just empowering yourself to make the call, and you're just giving that power to the producers or the musicians. But I trust my ear and my heart and what feels good for me, so I'm able to really convey that to him, and he respects that. So in this album, it was very much like I felt like I could explain to him what I wanted, and if he didn't agree with me, he would say, I don't agree with you because of this, and either I would listen to him and go, you're right, or either I would go, actually, I wanted to do it this way, and then you will respect that.
And she was usually right anyway with those decisions. So, you know, music is so subjective, like it can go so many different directions. So sometimes I have in my head where I think it's going to go, and then she's like, no, that's not my vision. And I'll be like, well, can you show me an example of something, like just anything like out there? And then I'll hear that and I'll be, oh, okay. And I'll go in that direction. Then by the time we've turned it into our own thing, I'm like, oh, that was way better than where I thought it was going to go anyway. So it was actually, for me, it was a really good learning experience doing this album with her, because not being in the driver's seat and her telling me what to do meant it was like it pushed me to do new things actually. And yeah.
How many albums have you done?
So second, I mean, it's the first one was first proper album. The first one was like an EP. It's got 6 songs in it, but this is the first full-length album, the way that I envision it, with poetry as well, because I'm a spoken word poet and I wanted to have the element of spoken word in there. I'm so proud of myself, especially because I'm a mom, you know, especially because I know like how hard it is to just tie things up. There's always like loose ends everywhere, you know, you just leave sketches everywhere, you have so many creative ideas, you're like, oh, I gotta do that, or you have so many visions, but then children, the energy of just serving them first, right, their needs, and then they just distract you from what your heart wants to be doing. So in order to be able to finish that and complete that feels like a big accomplishment for me.
What's on your fridge?
Reminders to myself on how to be a better parent all the time. Parenting doesn't come naturally to most people. We just get passed on all of the practices and traumas of our parents, and sometimes we say things because we are, you know, tired or stressed out, and it's not the best for the child. So we need to keep reminding ourselves what is the best way of approaching, you know, a tantrum, or, you know, when they're not regulated and they need you to help them to regulate, but you're not regulated yourself because you are tired, or you are also operating from, you know, past conditioning from your parents. So I have these things on my fridge to remind me on how to see them with respect.
How did motherhood change you?
There's so many cliches that can just be repeated over and over again, but they are repeated because they are so true, like the love and the depth of love that I'm able to feel, and the sacrifice that I'm willing to do for my child, and the way that I can see having them around me is accelerated spiritual teachings, you know, more than any yoga retreat or any gurus, or all of the time that I spent on my mat as a single person trying to understand the nature of consciousness, and how it is that how is it that I'm able to live my life without being in bondage of the traumas that were passed on to me, and, you know, everything that I'm trying to do to heal myself, my children helps me.
What kind of child were you?
When I was very little, my mom said I was very shy, and then somewhere, maybe 7 or 8, I am the ever constant performer. I was always trying to make everybody laugh, and I would always go run around in my neighborhood in Singapore, and I lived on a high-rise building on the 15th floor, and I would go to the very top of the building. It's like 20 stories up, and I would get to the roof with my friends, and we'd just go to the edge of the building and look down and go, whoa, you know, like that's my memory from childhood.
What's it like bringing up children in Portugal? You can be honest.
Well, the schooling thing was a factor to consider. You know, I feel like I didn't want to bring them up in the Portuguese schools because a lot of my Portuguese friends also say the teachers were, you know, would strike, and also it's a little bit more old school in the way that they approach education. But then the private schools are like, they're expensive, first of all, and then there's also like privilege, you know, that's in the private schools, because people that send their kids to private schools can't afford it, you know. And so like my girls would be at school and she's like, "Mommy, I want a phone." And I'm like, "You're not gonna get a phone, you're 8 years old." You know, and she's like, "Oh, this friend has a phone and that friend has a phone," and that's her reality, and she's comparing herself with people that have different values to us, you know. So that's been challenging for me. Like, I would want my kids to grow up in a school where there's understanding in a child's autonomy and holistic education, but at the same time from different socioeconomic backgrounds, different cultures, different countries, you know. So obviously it was my choice to send her to the British school because I feel like they have a really good education, but I really love for her to be exposed to like a wider community. That's Ben's graphic novels, my old books. This book changed my life. Don Miguel Ruiz. Have this painting from Cuba. Very unusual hobbies. I did Indian classical dance for a few years, and I still do that for myself, like not performing anymore.
What's the key movement that one needs to know if they're beginning in that?
Just to know the mudras. It's like pataka, tri pataka, ada pataka, kakarimuka. That's the peacock, I think, Mayura. That's me doing an Odyssey dance in Australia, 29.
Mommy asking, what age are you now?
Guess.
No way, no.
Yes. Guess.
20, 30.
I'm 45.
Wow. What's the secret of eternal youth?
Joy and gratitude. Yeah, I journal, but not as regularly. But I do yoga quite regularly, and I do my gratitude practice every day, especially with my girls before we go to bed. It's just so I know even if I forget, we'll do it together.
Does God exist?
Yes. I believe the sacredness that pervades every part of life. I can feel it, and it has really helped me through my life. Like, I left home, I ran away from home because it was just so suffocating for me. I didn't believe I couldn't practice religion in the way that my family was and the way they expected me to, but I could feel the energy of God, you know, and I was always like rebellious and say, why can't I find God the way that I want to find God? Why can't I connect with God the way that feels right for me? So I kind of went on my journey, and now I feel God. Last video.
What's your dog's name?
Obi.
Obi, after...
No, not after Obi-Wan Kenobi. We just like how it sounds when you call Obi.
So where do you write your lyrics?
I write them here. Sometimes I like to go away from everyone and just get an Airbnb or just go for 2 days somewhere and write. He takes the girls and I go off to Ericeira and write. Very drawn to lyrics. Some people listen to music for the melody or the production. Like sometimes when I listen to music with Ben, he listens to more of the beats and the production, and I listen to the lyrics. Prayers for my daughters. So 12 songs and 3 poems. The first one is called Energy Ball, featuring Elias Clay. Second is Ragamuffin, featuring Hour 4. Third is Magic, featuring Major One and Sarita. Black Sweetness, featuring Wild Gloriosa. Then Read the Signs, Liberation, featuring Juman. Dumbing Dam, featuring Dumb Effects. Not Your Expectation, featuring Paolo Baldini. Universal Mind, featuring Elias Clay and Dumb Effects. Amnesia, I Am, Greatness in You, Airport, Mama's Daughter, featuring Meta. And Sahara and Kalila, my girls are in there as well. And My Body Is Mine, which is a song I wrote for my girls, and they sang this one. So back in the day when we used to buy CDs, there's always a CD cover and a slip with all the lyrics in there. I love reading those lyrics. And these days also it's a lot harder for people to show a musician that they appreciate the music because everything is streamed through Spotify. So I figured if I made a book with all of the lyrics in it, if they really love the album, they can also buy the book. It's called Prayers for My Daughters. One day when my daughters read this, it's going to be lots of lessons of life.
Please come in. We listen to Sahida's album.
Yeah.
Should I open up the project so that it looks even more fly on the computer screen?
Is he a good producer?
He's the best.
I pay her to say that.
No, he's really good because he, like I said before, he listens to what your vision is. You know, sometimes, like I've worked with producers in the past where they're really on their high horse, you know.
We made each individual track, and then what I did was I stemmed them all out and then chucked them in to a project again so that I could line them all up. This is my way of working. It's not what you're supposed to do, but because I mixed and mastered it all myself. So it's all, yeah, the whole album is in here.
I didn't know your expectations.
I follow the chakra system, or like rainbow frequency system. So the lowest frequencies are red, and you go up. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet are the colors of a rainbow, and going from the base to the top. So I do that with my frequencies. So I know in every single project that where like the bass is always going to be red, drums is always going to be orange because it's the next thing up. Yellow is usually well, in this particular case it's the horns, but it's either percussion or horns, which kind of sits on top. Vocals are blue, because that's also the blue chakra on your throat. Green is, I think, the heart, which is the instruments. Yeah, which is your instruments. That's the bridge between the physical universe and the ethereal plane, if we want to get technical. And then up the top is like more like effects, sounds. So like the fluff that goes on top, the cream.
And listen to the voice inside. When you shame, you push away, lose them in the silence. Courage is the fires, love never forces their blind compliance. I am that I say I am, that I am. I am that I say I am, that I am. I am that I say I am, that I am. am here.
Joined at the soul with a pair of headphones. Need nobody to let ourselves go. Always at my side as we rock a stage show. Ocean of music, we move with the flow. Hand in my hand, I don't wanna let go. Partners in life on this meet or road. Got the wind on our back that blows. We can't drift apart, we just move with the
Natural and mystic, my soul flame truly gifted, most beautiful and so magnificent. But I love you, not just for the physical. I'm feeling you because you inspire me to strive to a higher spiritual way of life. This one with one as we are, one of the same. Your name is written in the stars. You got me fully charged. This one is being sung from the heart. Made love like art. As understanding is patient, inspired by my soul is shaking as I relate to all the reasons you make me grateful to be your one. You don't understand, I don't just wanna date you, I wanna have creative faith to elevate you, just being honest. You open up the chakra to even have you know my name. It's such an honor, pierce through my persona. Deeper than the Mona Lisa, I'm your black Madonna. Your earth mama, your soul mama, your sky mama, yeah. I'm your earth mama, your soul mama, your sky mama.
Joined at the soul with a pair of headphones. Need nobody to let ourselves go. Always at my side as we rock a stage show. An ocean of music, we move with the flow. Hand in my hand, I don't wanna let go. Partners in life on this meet or road. Got the wind on our back that blows. We can't drift apart, we just move with the flow.
That's how it's like, D.
We need no evidence of that.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh, it's actually getting warmer now.
Looking at your Instagram, you're fairly political. Outspoken. You've got opinions.
I mean, if you're a human and you feel for children dying, it's not political, it's just a very natural response of anyone. You know, and for you to not have an opinion on that, that's political. You know, you're choosing to not have an opinion about it because you don't want to be political, that's political. You know, it's just a twisted, upside down world at the moment where people are scared to speak about the fact that it's wrong to bomb so many children and have so many children being orphans and amputees because we're like socially conditioned to not deal with social discomfort.
Have you got any kickback on that?
Yes, but after a while it doesn't even bother you because you can see the same script being thrown at you, you know? When doing something makes some people angry, then you start to see the bigger picture and you start to join the dots, and then you also see other mothers that are coming together with you and your community really grows, you know? Have you been to Dubaco?
No.
Very good, delicious homemade bread with sesame seed on the buns. They recognize me.
They recognize you.
Do you have sandwich bread? The one that I love?
Shall we sit down?
What did you order?
A brioche bun and a mocha with oat milk. Like in my 20s when I left home and I went to Australia, I was just hitchhiking, going to different festivals and doing yoga retreats and really wanting to find what spirituality is for me. And I really felt the energy of God, but I couldn't name I couldn't name it in any particular tradition. But because I felt God and God was protecting me, I know that was why I was so safe, even though I did some crazy things, stupid things.
You keep hinting at these crazy things you did. What's the,
like hitching.
Is there anything fun? Any fun crazy thing you did?
You know, like hitchhiking through Australia, you know, like going to a hippie festival on a truck, get me from Sydney to Byron Bay. You know, like riding with truckers, like little Indian brown girl riding with Harley Davidson truckers. Like, who does that? You know, but I did that because I'm like, Spirit's got my back, God's looking after me, I'm safe. And because I believe that so much, even though I traveled through India by myself, backpacking by myself, because I love being a solo traveler, you know, and nothing ever happened to me because I believe in God. Even though we have kids, we still have a very fun life with our kids. We take the kids to reggae parties. So there's a reggae party in Charnica. Ben will take the girls. And whenever there's Afro Nation Festival in Algarve, in Portimao, which is like a 3-day festival with Afrobeat and Amapiano music. I love dancing to Afrobeat. And Ben will look after the girls. And he's like, baby, you go do your thing. And I'll just be with my girlfriends just dancing on the sand. And it was so good that last year I had to fly grandma over to look after the kids so I could go with Ben. So me and him are like just blissing out on music, you know. That's what I love about living in Lisbon. Like, you have access to such different kinds of parties, you know.
What's your favorite viewpoint in Lisbon?
My viewpoint. The favorite viewpoint is the one like next to La Mata, you know, in Brasa.
How's your Portuguese?
It's very bad. I hate this question actually. Next.
How do you feel about Portuguese food? I hate this question as well.
I used to love it. Now I don't love it so much. I just love the fusion tastes. I like fusion anything, you know. So Portuguese food is quite traditional, like traditional Portuguese food. But I like lots of flavors, so it's not my favorite cuisine.
Who's your tribe?
Here?
Who's your tribe? Yeah.
My sister Smita. She's English. She's Indian English. Mama. She lives in Sintra. It's so beautiful when you have that friend you can call and say like, hey, I really need to hang out, you know, to have like a soul sister. So she's my tribe.
What was your why not moment in life? What was a moment where you decided to take this big leap of faith, take a big chance? What was your why not moment?
Wow. There was this moment where I thought I was going to not be able to be in Australia for some visa reasons. So the option was to either pay for the money that I have to get lawyers to try and make sure I get to stay in Australia, or to pay for a music EP, which was my very, very first one. That's like 15 years ago. And I'm like, I love this music thing. I want to share this for myself, with the world. So I just jumped straight into it, you know. And you get rewarded, right, when you just go with what your heart wants instead of what your mind thinks is the logical thing to do. And every single time I'm afraid to step on the microphone before I started singing. Like, there were always open mics. This is like going 20 years back, you know, to all the people that feel like they want to sing or they want to express themselves but they're just too scared, or it's such a big leap to walk from here to the mic stand. I kept walking to the mic stand even though I was shit scared to do it. And every time I did that, I'm like, it feels more and more enjoyable, and, you know, more and more like overcoming a battle with yourself. And every time you win that battle little bit by little bit, you're living the life that you want to live. That's, yeah, lots of why not moment in that answer. We are in between Stefania and Anjos. And this is Tobacco, this is a place that I like to come to. And it's beautiful because it's a flat part of Lisbon, right next to the Children's Hospital. And for all the parents out there, the Children's Hospital is definitely where you should know where it is, because my kid broke her arm twice. And it's like such good doctors over there. It's the Stefania Hospital.
So you like this area?
Yes. Yes. I like it because it is very flat and very friendly, and yeah, everything that we want is here.
What's your favorite restaurant in Lisbon?
Favorite cafe?
Yeah.
I love Seagull Method. I love the zucchini fritters there. You know that one? It's Principal Real.
What's the most frustrating thing about living in Lisbon?
Bureaucracy. The fact that when something happens, like your phone's not working or you're not getting your parcels and your packages, that you can't just call someone and speak about where the problem is, and where you can't just speak to a manager. You know, sometimes you want to be able to find the person that you can to help solve the issue, but it doesn't seem to exist, this person.
So a lot of people watch these videos on the airplane, on TAP Airways, and they're watching the videos as they're arriving into Lisbon. So somebody's watching this when they're landing into Lisbon. What's one thing they need to know about Lisbon?
There is beautiful things to explore beyond what's on Instagram, and you can find it when you just walk without any particular goal or aim. I think that was the most beautiful way of exploring it, when you're just walking through the streets and letting the sounds and the sights wash over you. See you guys!
Hello.
I love this boat.
Oh, I love it too. It's amazing.
Can someone hold me?
Have you enjoyed the people of Lisbon experience?
Yes. I like talking and chatting and getting to know people, and I like conversations. It's just hanging out with two new friends.
Do you feel like you got across your full personality?
No.
What?
I think when you see me on the dance floor, you'll get a grasp of the whole personality.
Tell me something about you that not many people know.
I used to be a child star on Singapore TV
Did you?
back in the day when I was a kid.
Doing what?
Doing a, hi guys, here's your ABC kind of a show. Singing and dancing, and it was one of those Disney cartoon, I guess, Disney show.
What was your character name?
I'm myself, but the show is called Aksi Mak Yoyo. And yeah, I'll turn on the TV every Mondays and I'll be there teaching the kids songs about cleanliness, hygiene, ABCs and things like that.
Will you see a bit a little bit higher? Yeah, let me try a bit higher. And again, if you just, oh, thank you.
Give me some words of positivity. What's your mantra?
I guess it's the song that it's the affirmation. I am that I say I am. Just tell yourself all of the things that you want to experience, you want to feel, and from the feeling comes the change. You have to feel it first. I am that I say I am that I am. 'Cause I am that I say I am that I am. And even if you don't feel strong yet, even if you don't feel courageous yet, just say, I am strong, I am brave, I am patient. Just keep saying it again and again until it starts to flourish and flower in your heart.
That's it.
Yes.
That was the ending I was looking for.